Hey, welcome. MNFT Freedom episode number 18 already. How about it, Rochelle? Are you with me? I guess not.
Oh,
Well,
I'm here. I'm here. I had to unmute the headset.
uh,
You know, hey, MNFT is like fine wine, baby. We only get better with age, right?
there you go.
So
There you go.
very excited to be episode 18. This is Rochelle Young, CEO of MNFT LLC. And the only trusted person in this deal between me and Scott, right? Trust only my opinions on NFTs. Because we all know I will mint and buy anything. Oh,
Well,
I'm so happy to have you guys here. Hi, Richard.
Hello, how you doing?
I am
so
well, sir.
Richard is the guy from Game State, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm the co-founder of GameState, which is a metaverse-based startup.
Okay, nice. So, Rochelle, you kind of planned this whole episode out. You wanted to talk about, I guess, tech and blockchain?
I did. I did. We've been focused on setting the right mindset, creating the right tools, reaching the right people, doing every step of the way as it should be done. But I wanted to focus on some of the conspiracy theories too that are kicking and alive and well in the blockchain, right? We wanted to talk about blockchain. Is it really revolution or is it just more of the same, more control, right? Because now, I don't know if anybody's read JP Morgan's big move, right? Almost handling all of the on ramping fiat, almost all of it. So it's like blockchain was created for the little guy and the community to push forward. Now all of a sudden we have Disney, we have Amazon, and we have JP Morgan. Like, didn't you guys not rape us enough in the real world? You know, I mean, ain't much left,
The,
right?
the,
Ain't much left for you to come back and take some more. But I feel like they're kind of double dipping. And while on one hand we can absolutely say, hey, I am all for everybody being onboarded and stepping into the space. Um, it is the absolute giants that killed innovation in America, that absolutely stifled out the individual voice of reason, in my personal opinion. And
Yeah, I
I'm
totally
worried that
agree.
that's what's going to happen to the Web3 space in the Web3 community.
and I want to just jump in here real quick and apologize. I thought maybe Richard was, a nickname or whatnot, but it's Ricardo. So I do apologize, sir.
Cool, 100%. No, it's cool. It's cool. But yeah, I do echo what you're saying, Rochelle. It's like basically the big money, the old money, has been messing with crypto since basically last year. The whole of 2022 has just been whale games. And the little guy has just really lost out. And the little guy just kind of like, who was supposed to be uplifted by crypto and who was supposed to uh, basically have a transfer of value going from the old institutions to basically retail, it didn't happen. All the transfer of wealth got got basically rewinded back to the institutions again. Um, and that is really really annoying, but it still doesn't change that blockchain is still a marvel innovation, and it still can be used by small groups to basically bootstrap governance, bootstrap community, and really help to accelerate what they're doing. So there's two things. Obviously, there's the macro level, there's the micro level. On the macro level, you see all these big plays by JP Morgan and such. um, okay, it's not much you can do about that. But on the micro level, you have to think about what can you as an individual do to change the world, or to change at least your little galaxy. And you can harness the power of blockchain to improve your circumstances, um, um, im- to improve community and those around you. So if you take a macro view, things don't look too great. But if you take a micro view, there's really you, you can treat it as a tool that you can use, much like AI, like you use ChatGPT to do cool things. You also use blockchain to kind of do cool things and just kind of like tune out what's happening at the macro level, and just build. I mean, there's that whole misspelled acronym BIDDLE, which is basically build spelled badly, and that's kind of like where it's at. If you're in blockchain, put your head down, build, make something cool, and you know, um, you'll be able to change your circumstances.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think what this whole Web3 gives the ability to do is allow a company to go public without having to go public like on the stock exchange. You don't need all that out there. It's almost a way of crowdfunding, if you will. But not only that, being able to include those who believe in what you're building in what you're building, share the steps as you progress, which when you're looking at, the Fortune 500 companies, I mean, all you have is the information they share publicly. And, you don't have any inside information. You don't have that direct connection to the CEOs. With Web3, you do. And that's kind of unique about it. I think that's one thing that people appreciate most. But I digress. Rochelle, any comment?
I was double muted. I got lots of comments.
All right, let's do it.
I was double muted. I had lots of comments in the background. Some of it we can air, and some of it we absolutely cannot. But I am in full agreement with you, Ricardo. Listen, I am an Amazon shopper. I am a Netflix watcher. If you want to have a political or social impact project that says I have to stop using Amazon and stop using Netflix, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to pry my subscriptions from my cold, dead hands. Okay? So this is not to say that these companies don't have value, that I don't enjoy their services in real life. I don't appreciate the innovation that they're bringing. I do. All of that. But I think there is a bigger agenda that exists that we're not paying attention to. Because here's the thing. For me, when we have these discussions about where America is today or where America used to be, and you hear other people talking outside of the U.S., it is never more clear to me how uneducated our public is. Like, I kid you not. There's shows dedicated to showing how stupid Americans are, right? And I don't use that to belittle anyone. I don't use it to belittle anyone. I'm simply stating that we've allowed our culture to help define who we are. And I feel like the way we get back to really creating innovators, free thinkers, people who are going to bring solutions to the problem to the table, rather than a bunch of whiners, and you all heard me, and myself included, a bunch of whiners about what's wrong, why the system is so broken, and all of this without saying how we fix it, viable options on how we fix it, right? I feel like with that tipping point, companies like Amazon, companies like JP.
You're breaking up, Rochelle. I'm not sure if
we partner up. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My daughter was calling, and I apologize. So now the conversation should be with Amazon and Disney and all these big corporations coming in. To me, it should be, so how can we help facilitate a better business structure where we all benefit, right? But it's more the same shit. So is it really a revolution, or is it more control? Because it's more the same shit coming into the space. Those with the biggest dollars have the biggest voice. And that's the shit that I'm tired of in Web 2. So what are we really doing? Are we back at it again, putting food on the table for everyone else to eat, while the rest of us are what? Just looking around at each other going, damn, Scott, you're looking awfully tasty today. Is that what we're doing?
Okay. On a side note, I think having these major conglomerates coming into Web three is a good thing, and it isn't on the aspect that you're looking at it, where they control so much in Web two. Do they really need to control that in Web three? Well, they kind of do, and the reason that they do is because the only way we're going to gain mass adoption is to have these big corporations that have built trust over the years come into Web3. Because right now, I mean, who do you have in Web3 that is got that kind of pull like Amazon has, right? You really don't have that. I mean, you have a lot of great projects and you have a lot of solid founded projects, a lot of upright projects that are doing everything the right way, but they don't have that pull to bring the masses into Web3. And having those big conglomerates, that corporate money coming in and giving these people that are naysayers, that are like crypto's a scam, NFTs are a joke, and whatever they're saying, okay, this is justifying that they're not. It is justifying that this is a valid future. And
Okay, see, here's the thing for me, Scott.
mhm,
Um, and I will apologize for so rudely interrupting you, but here's the thing. The minute you tell me I need somebody like them to give me validation for what I've known boots on the ground in this space for the length of time that I've been in this space,
but it's not for
come
you.
on now. Right, that's
Exactly.
not
It's
for
not
No,
for
me. So
you.
I'm,
It's not for you.
yeah, I'm gonna ask
not
that.
for
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna ask that question. I am going to ask that hard question. I am going to bring a lot of it to light as the way we need to look at it. We are builders, we are creators, we are innovators in this space. The things that we are building, the value we are looking to add versus the value we're looking to take away. Right? And it's heavily overweight because we're more concerned about the value add than the value take away. A big company does what a big company is supposed to do, which is why investment strategists will tell you to own parts of these companies. They're going to do exactly what they're supposed to do, make profit,
Right.
absolutely make profit,
Yep.
right? However, there has to be maintained a level playing field and equal access for all so that my responsibility that I feel very deeply, my passion, my purpose is more about what I do with profit than how I earn profit.
Right.
Yeah.
So giving me the age old argument that, oh, well, the recognition that they're going to bring and the money that they're going to bring, they're not, first of all, they're not bringing no money for us. Any money coming is going right back in their pockets. So don't be fooled by that argument. I'm not. They're
So
not bringing nothing for me.
they're not bringing anything for me, and I'm sure they're not bringing anything for Ricardo, right? But
No.
what they are bringing is they are bringing that validation that Web3 is not what people have been hearing in the media, right? This is for the people that are on the outside looking in, that have been on the outside looking in since before COVID, right? Before that last bull run, when they saw people becoming millionaires and didn't get in because you know there was FUD then, right? Well, then with all the controversy and the legal claims and the stuff that's happened in the last year, that kind of justifies their thought on Web3 and how it just embedded it's a scam. So how do they get past that? Well, they get past that by taking a company that they use on a daily basis, like Amazon, like if they work with JP Morgan or any of the other corporations that are coming into Web3. They get that validation that, hey, there's something more there than what I saw. I should have another look. So, what that does for us is it doesn't put money in our pocket, but it brings more people into Web3. So, instead of having that 3% or 4% of the total world's population that is invested in Web3, now it's expanding that. And it's up to us to continue doing what we do and share what we're doing. So, and I guess I just bored the hell out of Rochelle because she just dropped out. I mean, what are your thoughts,
Maybe she
Ricardo?
disagreed. Yeah. So look, I totally echo what you said in terms of validation. I find that kind of like being involved in crypto is like, essentially coming out of the closet. If you tell somebody that you're in crypto, they look at you a bit funny. They're like, um, I, I actually have a classic example. Um, I had a business lunch at one point, and I was sitting next to this gentleman who was, a quite well-established business mogul in my town, and he was talking to me in general, and he was quite engaged. And then he kind of like asked me what I'm doing now. And the minute I said Bitcoin, he like almost like scurried away from me, like moved his chair away from me, and like ended the conversation, and kind of like said, "Well, I wish you luck with that." Before that, even said something along the lines of, um, "Oh, Bitcoin, terrible stuff, terrible stuff." But anyway, I wish you luck with that. You know, it's a bit of of an elderly gentleman. But now, when he sees established brands like J.P. Morgan coming into the picture, he can't come and tell me Bitcoin terrible stuff because, well,
Right.
the bank that he probably has most of his investments in is now fully into crypto.
Right.
So there's a bit of ammunition now that guys like us who are involved in the crypto space and kind of get put down can now use and say, well, JP Morgan's into it, Amazon's into it, Disney's into it, Starbucks is into it.
I don't want to raise the banner of J.P. Morgan being in any space and think that's a good thing. I'll be frank with you. J.P. Morgan, on the whole, has systematically participated in making sure that people of a certain color never succeeded, right? I'll call it for what it is, bro. Let's be honest. It's about a bunch of rich white dudes that have no idea of what is transpiring in the real world. None. They're stuck in their ideology and they're stuck in their ways. And the only reason why they're at the table is because of the infinite potential of the amount of money that they can earn. Again, cornering the market. So no, I am not going to be one of those people waving that banner going, yay, they're here. They've never been here for us. Ever. Ever.
No, in fact, they were against crypto for a long time, and they were speaking
Yes,
out
because
against
they were
crypto.
deliberately against crypto to drive the price down, do what they did. This
Yeah,
is how you take over a country. We don't fight wars anymore. We cripple you economy in terms of your economy, and then we go in. Then we send in the corporations. The corporations is now the guerrilla tactics of the 80s, right? And,
exactly.
and and this is not conspiracy theories. Like, this is shit that you could go Google. Google is your friend. Chat GBT, whatever you need to do, that's your friend. Go follow that rabbit hole and see where it goes. And again, make no mistake about it. Would I own stock in JP Morgan? Fuck yeah, I will.
Yep.
Money is investment is an unemotional um, thing that you do. So when it comes to making money in terms of investing, right? I want nothing but the facts.
Yep.
I don't
Ricardo.
care about anything but the facts, right? So it's not saying that you won't make any money, but I'm sure as hell socially not gonna stand up and say, oh yippee, JP Morgan is here to save us. They never fucking saved us a day in their life. Ever.
Well, and it's not that kind of saving. But Ricardo, finish your statement before we go into that.
Sorry, I actually forgot what my statement was.
Rochelle kind of cut you off mid sentence. I'm like, okay, well, let's go back. But no, all right, no worries. So it's not that kind of saving, Rochelle. It's not that they're coming in and bringing money and they're going to share it with everybody. That's not their goal. Their goal is to make money for themselves, right? Their goal is to make money for their investors. Their goal is to pad their own wallets. But what I see value in with having JP Morgan enter the space is that validation that this space is not a scam, right? There is more.
It never was. It never was. It never
But
was. And it doesn't take a company. Hold on. It does not. See, that's what my problem is. It is for those of us who are in the know, who've done differently, to actually sit here and say that these companies is what's going to give us validation. They never going to give us validation. They do not need to give us validation. because I could look at 100 more companies that are bringing real world solutions, things that are going to impact lives for generations to come on the blockchain. Why the
Yeah.
fuck would I mention JP Morgan?
Right.
So again, it's the language that I'm so highly opposed to, and why I seem like just a really chaotic, crazy person tonight. Because I'm very passionate about it, right? I'm very passionate about it. When you think about it as a whole, Scott. Oh, that's all I'm saying. I need you to think about it as a whole. How we systematically have been denied being able to access something as basic as funding for innovation and creation. And the only way that's been occurring has been on the blockchain. So what the fuck, JP Morgan coming in and getting, listen, 99% of the on-ramping for fiat is JP Morgan. How is that level playing field at all?
Yeah, it's not. Although, I mean, at least there is on ramping. You know, if we didn't have on and off ramps, it'll be quite hard for crypto projects to kind of be able to pay real world bills. That's probably the only good thing that they bring to the space is the on ramping.
Mhm.
And right now, there's actually a huge crunch in terms of the different avenues to be able to enter and exit crypto after the SVB bank fiasco and the other related banks. A lot of the underlying on-ramping infrastructure has been kind of rug pulled. So we are finding that now people are relying more on P2P solutions like maybe local Bitcoins and the Binance P2P market, which is actually pretty good. Um, and I think that we need to more further decentralize on off ramps with more P2P solutions, much like that is offered through Binance at the moment, but maybe something decentralized that is not controlled by an entity like Binance. Um, I think the future is definitely P2P on ramps from fiat currencies into crypto and vice versa.
Mhm. Yeah. And the validation isn't for the people that know this space, Rochelle. And,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
it's for the people that don't know the space. And all they know is what the media says. And, one of the things that, I've been trying to do with, our project Heroes is that I am, and us as the team, we are taking a Web 2 product and business model and introducing people to Web 3 through a valid, legitimate business, right? So that's kind of what this is doing. This is taking people that don't know Web 3 and giving them an introduction to it. Now, you're right. There is amazing projects in this space already that are doing some incredible things that are going to be life changing in the next 5 to 10 years, right, or sooner. But who knows about those? Just the people in this space, right? The people that are outside that are just getting that negative news, they're not in this space, trolling for good projects. They're talking to their coworkers and friends about, the latest scam that's going on, right? Or the latest person that lost all their money or whatever it may be. So, I think the validation that I'm referring to is having a business of that stature enter this space. All right, enough of that.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
I mean, I think that to please all parties, it should be a different brand like Coca-Cola or something entering the space. That would be a lot better than maybe
Mhm.
JP Morgan. And or even Netflix that Rochelle uses so avidly. I think she would prefer that.
Yeah.
Pry
So,
it
so like,
from, like my iPhone, you will pry it from my cold, dead hands along with my
yeah,
45. Okay? Though to me, those are the fundamentals of building freedom. Please, I'm just being facetious now. I don't need a ton of DMs. I happen to like Netflix. I don't want to weigh in on the politics of it. I like the service. Again, would I invest in JP Morgan? Absolutely, 100%. Am I going to hold them up as a shining example of why crypto is legitimate? Fuck no.
No.
It's literally like you taking Bernie Madoff, right? And holding him up as a shining example of why you should invest in big institutions. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right. And it's not that. It is that the hope that these big institutions, these big businesses that are entering the space are going to bring new eyes and new money to the space, and people are going to be curious. And it's up to us to share with them what is really going on here, what is really happening, what these different projects are working on, and, open their eyes to beyond JP Morgan. Maybe JP Morgan's the reason that they're like, oh, you know what? They're in it now. Maybe I should really start to look. Well, it's up to us, you, Rochelle, Ricardo, myself, to help them become aware of the potential this space has to offer and all the good that it can do, right? Not just all the negative that they've heard about, because that's what the media likes to publish. All right. let's move on, because we can keep going back and forth on this, Rochelle. Well, what do we want to
I
talk
want to
about
talk
next?
about a little. I want to talk a little bit about what Ricardo is building, and why I even bring up
Let's,
that conversation now. Because here's the thing. I think what he's built, and again, why I'm so opposed to holding him up as a flag. And no, I'm not going to let it go, Scott. Right? What he has created with as little funds as he was able to raise for massive innovation in this space. Again, right? Why is he not top of the chart? Why is he not being held up an example? And that's my beef, really. We've got existing companies that are absolutely fire on the blockchain, and yet they're not the ones being held up to legitimize crypto. That's my beef, right? So I want to talk a little bit about Ricardo and what he's building.
Thank you. All right, so um, we started a project called Game State. We started ideating it in around about September 2021, and what it was meant to be at the time, it was supposed to be a sports metaverse. It was supposed to be about um, getting the athletes to basically connect with their fans in the metaverse space. Um, we chatted with some VCs and we saw a couple of holes in that plan in terms of athletes mostly have agents, and it's very hard to kind of break into that space unless you really have a lot of contacts in the sports world, which we didn't. So we decided to open it up and make it more generic, and we went into the gaming aspect, where the name Game State comes in. And the idea behind that is basically that we would become a platform for discovery and learning, where users can discover new games, especially Web3 games, high bias towards Web3, in a metaverse type environment. Now, the annoying thing was that we were ideating all this in September, October. November, Facebook announced that it is now rebranding to Meta. And we're like, oh, this sucks, because now everyone's going to think that we just jumped on the bandwagon. Meantime, we actually were already ideating this before they actually had this announcement. And that was a bit of an annoyance factor. Okay. And yeah. So then we basically managed to raise some small amount of funds. We managed to do a community pre-seed round, and we also had two backers, Gravity Finance and Hybrid Finance, which are like decentralized exchanges and decentralized communities. And in total, we raised about 170K. Now, contrast that to projects that raise a couple of million. And now scrutinize those projects that raise a couple of million. Where are they today? Are they still around? Did they actually build anything? We then wanted to go on and, raise further funds, do, a public token raise, or access VC funding. But 2022 proved to be really challenging. And the whole Terra Luna crash happened, the Ukraine war, FTX, and just a whole host of other things. So we didn't really manage to raise anything further in 2022. Um, but we had our MVP. We took a build first approach. We basically, if I were to describe what our MVP is, it's basically a cross between World of Warcraft, Decentraland, and Second Life. Okay. We have a feature complete WebGL MVP. Basically means that it can be used on any web browser, on any operating system, so Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. We are also working on a downloadable version for Linux, Mac, and Windows. And once we have further funding, we'll be able to do mobile and VR as well. Now, we already have a fully featured um, system in terms of all the menu interfaces are there. We have controls for sound and graphics. You can change to use low graphics or high graphics. We have an emote system where you can load up various dances and emotes and essentially drag and drop them into your carousel. We have a chat system where users can chat globally, and we even have gated access in terms of being able to tokenize entry into certain virtual spaces with NFTs or tokens. So the idea is that we actually would be able to give utility to NFT communities and to token communities where now they can use their Web3 assets as access tokens into private spaces or even um, one-on-ones with celebrities and that sort of thing. So the Web3 integration is there. Um, and we also have integration with StreamYard. In fact, we are broadcasting live from StreamYard, in fact, right now. And were this to have been used in our game state account, or were we to have basically used the RTMP output that feeds to our in metaverse screen, we could broadcast this into the metaverse space. And anyone with the avatar inside the space could be essentially viewing us in a virtual screen, or in a screen in the sky, or in a billboard or whatever. So that those features are already there as well. Um, so um,
Just to cut in there, I mean, that is a really cool feature. We had done that in the past, with our project. We had actually used big screen. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but we would do our AMAs
yeah, yeah,
and broadcast in big screen, and people would be able to join in the same space, talk to each other as the AMA is going on,
exactly.
which was really kind of cool. So you're saying you're going to be able to, you're doing this within your metaverse, and probably and hopefully on a bigger scale, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So that's just one part of it. We have other cool things in terms of we have virtual ATMs that financial institutions and decentralized exchanges can use. They can basically go up to the ATM, click on it, and the website of that decentralized exchange will basically show up um, in an inline web browser without having to leave the metaverse environment. So you can do your exchanges and swaps right there with your avatar in the space without having to leave and go to a new window. So that's available. We also have vending machines, virtual vending machines, and that's going to be a really interesting space to be in, because all of a sudden now you're creating an ability for brands to market themselves and create points of sale in a virtual environment. Now, um, one concept that we really want to build out is the redrinkable concept. And it's quite serendipitous that you're drinking at this moment because that's exactly what we're talking about. So essentially, you will take um, your drink, your physical drink, and you will create an NFT of it, right? And you will have that NFT available for purchase in the vending machine in the virtual space. And when users purchase it, they can then either burn it or mutate it to redeem a coupon to get a discount in the real world, or even to have the entire product delivered to their door in the real world, depending on how much they paid for it in the virtual space. And they can get utility twice. So basically, the utility they'll get in game would be either that NFT gives you access to special zones and special areas that are related to that brand, and it could also do something for your avatar in the sense of give it special abilities like flying. Like Red Bull could really give you wings in the metaverse for real. You could actually get the wings come out, and you could get an aura like a red aura or something like that. And then the redrinkable concept comes when you actually redeem it for the real world item. So we want to push that, and we have already built the groundwork for all of these things, for the virtual ATMs, the virtual vending machines, and even expo booths and arcade machines. We have all these assets that we can use to represent brands within our space. Our next go-to-market strategy is we are building joint ventures. And we figured since the VC funding route was a little bit hard and VCs are a little bit tight at this moment, we thought that the best way to do it is to build our spaces community by community and enter into joint ventures with brands and with communities that want to build a space with us where we provide the technical expertise, they bring the networking and the users and their ideas, and we build something together and go to market and try and get funding together. Sometimes some of those joint ventures do already have funding. We are talking with a cybersecurity company that we won't name just yet, but they will likely fund a joint venture space and explore ways to harness the metaverse to really bolster and deliver their brand in new ways that they weren't able to with static websites. Um, with Rochelle, we are actually looking at, I'm not going to say too much about what we're doing, but we are basically looking at taking a community in a specific town, in a specific area, and we are going to be um, bootstrapping an innovation hub in the metaverse space around that community, and then going out and getting funding for it. That is so those are just two of the joint ventures we are working with at the moment. There is another one in the K-pop space that we are looking at doing something that is revolving around K-pop and dancing and avatars and also dance moves that the avatars can perform. So those are basically three hot joint ventures that we are dealing with at the moment that will be an alternative to getting VC funding. Is actually basically getting funding from communities and joint fundraising with brands and with leaders in the industry. So that's where we're kind of at the moment.
Nice. Well, that was quite a bit. And I want to comment on that thing because I do have your page up here. Megaverse. This isn't the first time I've seen that. In fact, I seen that a little over 2 years ago with another project. So how long have you been using that term?
We've been using this term since around about October 2021.
Okay.
So I still think we're the first one to be using this term. In fact, was it Epic Games came out and I think they patented Megaverse in the States um, early 2022. And uh, but yeah, but that hasn't really stopped us. Doesn't really create too much of a problem for us.
Well, no, and I'm just curious because not wasn't such a big fan of that other project, but I did like what they were building or what they said they were building, which was a megaverse versus a metaverse where you had multiple different metaverses that were all connected together. And it would be like you could go from one to the other by walking through a door, keeping the avatar that you're using or NFT that you're using as your avatar as you go through these different spaces.
Yeah,
And,
that's actually the same concept of us as well. Yeah.
yeah. So, um, yeah, I mean, I love that idea. I think that is really where things need to go. It kind of makes me think, or I imagine, Ready Player One, right? That the movie. I mean, I imagine that that's where we're going to be in. I don't know what year that takes place. I think it's like 10 or 15 years in the future from now.
Yeah, about
Uh,
10 years. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, with everything that I'm seeing, I think we're going to be there. I think that's inevitable. It's just, is it going to be on that scale where, everything is going to be done within the megaverse, or is it going to be, kind of like half and half, or maybe it's going to be there, just not widely used for, employment, I guess you could say. Uh, I don't know, but I'm really excited to see that because I think that really intrigues me. That there's this ability to be able to travel and befriend people around the globe and work with them side by side, and you could be halfway around the world from them, but yet be able to communicate and interact with them on a daily basis. Which I
Exactly.
know we can do that now, but it's a little different when you're in VR. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
So basically, I think that um, like when you said half and half, I think a lot of it is going to transition into AR, which is augmented reality, basically
Right.
an overlay of the virtual environment into the real world. You'll be wearing special glasses. The technology is going to improve to the sense that the glasses will be kind of as lightweight as what you're wearing now, and
Hmm.
that's when I think it's going to really come to the fore. In fact, Snapchat has come out with a pair of glasses that they're not too bad. I mean, they're probably maybe double or triple the weight of what glasses you're wearing now,
Hmm.
and so it's still wearable. Without too much fatigue, and that could open up things to a whole new level. Like, let me paint you a picture. So, a car dealership. Right. The car dealership of the future will have both a metaverse presence as well as an AR presence. They'll have a virtual space where anyone across the world or across the country can visit their virtual salesman inside the virtual space. They don't have to be physically at the car dealership. And but if they happen to be in the same town as a car dealership and they're driving past with their AR glasses, they will be able to see all cool specials above um, the dealership itself. Maybe like a big monster, that's eating a tire, or something funny, something really out there,
Hmm.
and they will really be able to, or even see a big four-wheel drive vehicle larger than life above the dealership in 3D in front of their face. That's kind of like where I think the future is headed. With the Web 2 space, and Web 1, basically, it was all about static websites, about social media, and maybe digital billboards. Now we're going to virtual billboards in the sky visible with AR glasses. Uh, Not only billboards, but actually like full on objects. I was fortunate enough in my younger years to have gone to Universal Studios in the States. I'm not from America, but I think when I was 16, I went over to Disneyland and Universal Studios and all that. And that was in the late 90s. And at that time, I managed to test an electric car. So I actually sat in it and pressed the pedals, and I managed to watch a 3D movie of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids seeing the snake come right up to my face. This was the 90s, right?
Hmm.
So this technology was always, was already being ideated back then.
Yep.
But was never mainstream. It's only now starting to become more mainstream because of basically technology having progressed further enough that personal devices are powerful enough to process and give you that same experience
Yep.
that huge 3D computers would do so back in the 90s. Um, yeah, so yeah, things are really going to be interesting.
Yep. Absolutely. Rochelle, you've been very quiet.
Um, because I didn't want to go on another rant.
Wow.
I didn't want to go on another rant, but just because, like you see, right? So this is why again I'm so passionate about the topic. When people look, and rightly so, Scott. It's again, would I invest in those companies? Yes, I will. When it comes right down to having an investment strategy, talking to someone like Matthew or a certified financial advisor, right? It makes sense. You want to put your money where it's going to make money. So that's not the issue. How I feel about these companies personally is not the issue. What I have a problem with is others that are holding them up as validation for what's been created on the blockchain, what we currently are doing on the blockchain, things that we've done, and we don't get none of that. Um, it irks me. I'll be honest. It absolutely irks me. He has a beautiful platform. I mean, I think it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? Um, I know I brought up that whole megaverse thing, but it's not just that. It's, like Rochelle said, with these big corporations coming in and then kind of taking credit for, what other projects or I guess companies have done already. I've been there, with our project. We were out for over 6 months, and then all of a sudden this other project comes and they have the money to get what Kevin Leary from Shark Tank to do a public
Oh
commercial
wow.
on mainstream TV. It's like, come on. And it's the same exact thing that we've been doing for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
But they just got started and they had the funds to hire a celebrity to help promote it. Now, wouldn't those funds that they hired him with gone a little bit further to better their project? Yes, but they probably got more recognition because of that. So, so I feel you. I totally can relate. I get the whole idea that there's a lot of sound projects that are in this space that have been building for the long term, and now they're going to be overshadowed by these big corporations coming in. But I don't necessarily look at it that way. I look at it as an opportunity, and an opportunity for a new audience that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
100%.
Anyway,
I, I totally agree with that. Um, you know, um, Use them like they use us, right?
right?
Um, you know, Use them to uh, bootstrap new audiences, prove to people that hey, look, these guys are in the space, so don't diss the space, right? Because like your old timey bankers here, so like you know what's your problem,
The
you know.
mouse has arrived. You got to respect it, right?
Yeah. So look, I mean, for me, I don't give any credit or uplift any big corporation or any celebrity or any monarchy or any president or anything. I'm my own person, my own project.
Mhm.
I rather respect the little guy. Respect people who are doing honest building. Those are the people that I respect, and those are the people I want to hang out with. If you give me a VIP pass to go and hang out with a celebrity, I probably wouldn't even go. It's like it's not my thing. It's like I'd rather hang out with guys like yourselves who are, talking about real stuff and like, making real change. Hang out with people that are building and developing. Um, that's what really turns me on. Big brands, big celebrities, leaders and stuff. You know, they they were- they they have their place in society, but not for me.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah. So anyway, whew, that was uh that was quite a bit we went over. And what you're building there, Ricardo, is amazing with Game State. I do like that a lot. You have a token and NFTs, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The token is State, STATE.
Hmm.
And we are currently looking at doing a public round soon, and we did use it in seed funding for the initial seed amount, but we're just looking for an opportunity to now go onto a launch pad and do our public round. We've just sent through some applications now to some launch pads, and hopefully the market has improved more now in 2023, and we're over all the surprise bumps of 2022, and hopefully the bear markets are behind us and the bulls start to run. Yeah, so yeah, just hoping for the best.
Nice. Awesome. And I'm just going to comment here. I saw C was commenting on heroes and what our plan is moving forward. See, man, all of our stuff is listed in our roadmap. We've been checking it off as we go, and we have been working behind the scenes. So trust me, we're not doing anything. We are doing quite a bit. And what we are building here with MNFT and we're building towards is more mass adoption from Web 2 to Web 3. And we're doing that through a conference. And that is coming up here, hopefully, before the end of the year. How about it, Rochelle?
Cool, that's awesome. Does Heroes have a website?
We do. Hero-universe.com.
Okay. Hero, I'm going to go to it right now.
I can do it.
Universe.com. Perfect. Oh, there we go. Ah, it looks cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I wish you all the best, and I look forward to the conference happening later in the year. Please do keep us updated on that.
Absolutely. All right. So
Definitely.
we've been going
Can
for
you guys
almost
hear
an hour.
me?
Yes, Rochelle, we can hear you.
Yeah, because I have no idea where I put my glasses in the middle of my rant. So, when you wear glasses, you feel like you blind, deaf, and dumb all at the same time.
Um, is that a slam
It's
or?
it's an absolutely it's a thing. It's a thing. It genuinely is a thing. Okay, I might be the only one, but I didn't want to feel alone.
Put it back on.
I
I should
took your
go get my
glasses off.
glasses.
Yeah, when you can't find your glasses, you feel like you you
Oh,
you blind, deaf, and dumb all at the same time,
I
Oh
thought
shit! When
and
you
you have
can't
to.
find them, she was like, she wasn't saying that you look blind, deaf, and dumb at the same time. Mary was.
I
She
thought
was
she
saying that
was.
when she couldn't find them, you must think he was being like slammed there and insulted.
I
Oh, you
know
felt
that.
That's
like,
funny.
oh, okay, I get it, I get it. See what I mean? See what I mean? I feel
Front
blind, deaf,
line.
and dumb, and stupid all at the same time. Where the hell did I put them?
I
Don't worry,
can't help
that's
you.
my default setting, so it's all right. I feel you.
Half the time when this happens, it's either sitting on my head, but I check there first, um, or some really obscure place. Last time I found them in a pillowcase. I don't know. I don't know. But again, love having these conversations, love talking to people that get it, and by no means am I going to sit here and say, oh, I'm not about profit. Everybody knows I'm about as much profit as we can get, right? Everybody knows this. I am 100% for as
Selling down
much
to the
profit that I
floor. Hey,
can make.
Rochelle. Selling down to the
Uh,
floor.
yeah,
Down to the carpet,
absolutely.
sorry. Down to the
Absolutely,
carpet.
down to the carpet, bro. I'm selling down to the carpet. I'm all for that because of what I want to do with that profit that I've earned. Right? That's what really gets me excited. That's what wakes me up every day. That's what keeps me motivated. That's my passion and my purpose because now, with the advent of Web3 and the innovation that's coming and the changes to our educational system where we're talking about a global school, the opportunity to have a more empathetic, um, a more conscious society as we push forward in this gig economy. I mean, it's a glorious time to be alive. Even with all of the struggles, it is a glorious time to be alive, to get involved, to tap in, to weigh in, and make sure that your voice can be heard. It absolutely can be. Um, and it's what I'm looking forward to. So, yeah, I'm going to speak truth to power, and you know, some may like what I say and some may not like what I say, but you can't please everyone. And all I can do is continue to be my true, authentic self, to lead with integrity and make sure the people within my circle of influence lead with integrity as well.
100%. Those
Absolutely.
are really good values to live by. Yeah.
All
And
right.
yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, Ricardo.
No, I was
You-
just saying that Web3 really gives us the opportunity to make a difference. Like I see that Heroes is all about charity and making a difference. And I think that it would have been really hard to do this without Web3. You know,
Mhm.
you'd be probably reliant on PayPal and Stripe or something, and you wouldn't have the same community reach as you have now with being able to use blockchain.
Yeah.
So definitely, like I said, on a micro level, blockchain really can bring about change. Don't worry too much about the macro. Use it as your tool. Use it to build great things and build great communities and to help people, just exactly like you're doing now.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
here's something else, and I know we're over the hour, Scott, but frankly, I don't care because you never take enough time, I think, to give yourself, your lovely wife Megan, your family, your hero's family, enough credit, right? You're a very humble man. My admiration and respect for you only continues to grow the longer that I get to know you. The things that they're doing over at Heroes, it's really a testament to when we talk about leading with integrity, right? 50+ thousand dollars to charity, that's commendable in any economy. That's commendable. And this is where I say community is so important when we talk about, yes, your voice can be heard. Yes, your opinion matters, because where they donated it was all community driven.
Yep.
So you can absolutely have an impact in someone's life. You can.
Yep. Yeah. And we, well, yeah, we I could go on for another hour on all the stuff that we have done in the time that we've been around, but I think that's for another space. This is an MNFT space. This is about financial freedom and the future of finance and where things are going, not about heroes. And I do appreciate the kind compliments, and we always are continuing to build. In fact, when I'm not helping you and doing the day job, I am working heroes and nonstop. And you can ask my wife; it drives her mad because she wants me to stop and just
I know the feeling.
so,
I'm in the same boat, man.
and she's a dev on the team, and she's like, you got to
Oh,
stop,
wow.
you gotta but she does a lot of the great artwork, like our logo and the MNFT logo. She did that, and she does a lot of the stuff that we post. So she's an amazing and talented woman, and we do appreciate her. And we have other devs in on the team that are amazing as well, each in their own right and own profession and element of heroes. So we have a pretty well rounded group of people that are behind the scenes on heroes. And I don't just say behind the scenes, they're always out there and present, but they're always doing something to better the project. So it's
That's
just,
fantastic.
I'm just honored that I know these amazing people. So yep.
That's cool.
But okay. With that, I know we're at an hour, Rochelle, and if you want, man, we can dedicate an entire MNFT episode to heroes if you choose. But you know, I think if people look at all the YouTube videos that we have and the AMAs that we've done, they can get a pretty good understanding of who we are and what we are. And I'm always available if someone asks. So, but I think for tonight, let's just do some closing statements. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. Um,
100%.
yeah. So, okay, you caught me off guard. I don't have a closing statement. So, no,
Well, you
okay,
don't have
well,
to give one.
no, it's cool. I'll think of something on the fly. So, my closing statement is basically, um, don't give up. You know, we at Game State could have given up last year in 2022, but we didn't. We decided to follow our passions. Um, you know, um, this world is kind of like it's all about instant gratification now with social media. And but when you really look at it, a lot of the great companies have taken 10, 15 years to really come to fore. So don't give up in your first year. Don't give up in your second year.
Yep,
Maybe thinking about giving up after 5 years, but at least give it the right amount of time and then reevaluate. So keep pushing, keep your head down, do the best you can. Meet up with great people like the people here from MNFT, and yeah, keep building.
absolutely. Appreciate it. Rochelle,
Again, I think for me, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh yeah, I think for me, at the end of the day, um, it's all about the legacy you want to leave. It's all about what you want to give back, how you plan on doing that give back, um, and how we continue to build great communities, right? Because that's the goal, building great communities where we all continue to thrive, learn, and earn together. And we can't do that if we're constantly at each other's throat. We can't do that if we're not uplifting, encouraging, and supporting each other. Um, there's got to be a time where we say, okay, we can band together for the greater good. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing the most. We need to be actively supporting each other. We need to be retweeting and liking each other's tweets and things like that. Those of us that are building with integrity, the only way we continue to do that is by supporting each other. So enough said. Step up, show up, um, and do what you know needs to be done. And that's the truth of it. That's the bottom line.
Yep. Yeah. And, these episodes, they are all about financial freedom. They're all about where things are going. They're all about the future. With what Ricardo shared with us and what they're building over there at Game State, I'm even more excited about the next 5 to 10 years. But, I know we talk about financial freedom a lot. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Financial freedom isn't necessarily unbelievably wealthy. It could just mean that you're able to live the life that you've always dreamed of living, whether that be just traveling, whether that be buying a cottage on a lake, right? Or, living on a uh, tropical island, right? It could be anything. It could just be the ability to be able to have home that generations can always gather around for holidays. That could be your financial freedom, is to be able to host those events. And, so for every one of us, that goal is different, but the way we achieve that goal is very similar. We all have to start in the same places, and that is psychologically, like we've talked about in the past, get in the right mental mindset to start that journey. And then as we go, we continue to educate ourselves like we've been doing every week for the last 18 weeks, right? And, just make ourselves better, take little nuggets here and there, and then apply them. And hopefully they will pan out and you will hit that financial freedom that you aim to hit. And hey, if you go beyond that and become a billionaire, well, great. I'll get you my number and my bank account and you can help me out. But with that, guys, I appreciate you as always. And every week, this has always been a fantastic program that we run. And I find so much value in it week after week. So I thank you for joining us.
And
100%.
thanks for
100%.
hosting us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, hang out after the show and we'll talk to you guys next week. As soon as I